Items. Item A is a discussion for possible action, the approval of the minutes from the following meeting, March 24th, 2021. Are there any additions, subtractions, or corrections? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ian,
Second.
second by Travis. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Passed unanimous. Well, item B is discussion for possible action, the approval of a proclamation in support of the Nevada Wildfire Awareness Campaign for the period of May through October 2021.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Lori,
Second.
second by Ian. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay, that'll wind that up to the last item. Close, so we're gonna go back. We are right on time with the 9:30 item. And, okay. It's 9:30, item B on page 3. It's a public hearing on county land sales. Item 1 is a public hearing. Do I ask for public comment? I'll read it and then I'll ask for public comment. Public hearing, discussion only. The White Pine County Commission will take public comment on the fair market value of the following property. APN 002-161-05, Lot 14, Lot 15, East 1/2, Lot 16, Block 35 in the Park Addition, City of Ely. APN 002-161-06, West 1/2, Lot 16, Lot 17, Lot 18, Block 35, Park Addition in the City of Ely. APN 002-161-07, Lot 19, Lot 20, East 1/2, Lot 21, Block 35 in the Park Addition in the City of Ely. And APN 002-161-08, West 1/2, Lot 21, Lot 22, Lot 23, Block 35 in the Park Addition of the City of Ely. Burton?
I was just gonna wave in the camera here.
Yeah, oh, well, right now, to the public, is there anybody in the public that would like to speak to this?
So that's what this item is, just for anybody to have comment on the appraisals that the commission had on this county.
Okay, George? There's nobody on the phone, is there? Okay, George, come on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, on your agenda item here, you're to consider public comment regarding the fair market value of several other properties. Some of those properties have been previously appraised by a certified appraiser at $30,000, along with a 40-acre parcel that appraised at $45,000. Yet you sold that particular parcel for $4,000. I want to remind you in regards to some of those lots, if not all of them, that I gave you a cash offer and you refused to sell, even though no one else bid. You discriminated against me. You sold the 40 acres because you only had one bid. You sold the 13 lots to JCR because you only had one bid. $100, $7.70 per lot. I offered a lot more than that. Does the county have a problem with ethnic minorities, veterans, senior investors, senior citizens?
That's ridiculous.
I'm beginning to wonder. The county should not be competing against the private sector.
This
We pay
particular item-
fair market value, fair market price for property that we purchased. Now you're cutting our legs out from under us. On item 1 in particular, I was the highest bid responsible bidder, yet you refused me because, based on discriminatory comments made by Commissioner Vivey, that the property was worth more. None of you folks are certified appraisers. If the lots are the same that I made an offer to you in a public meeting, then you need to honor my offer under the same conditions you sold the other acreage. Stop the discrimination. Federal law prohibits what you have done and what you may do under color of law. You have to treat everybody equally and fairly. Take that to heart, sir.
Okay, Burton, would you explain what's taking place?
Sure, I wanted to, like so many things that we do in the county here, it takes a lot of people to pull them off and get them together. And so I really want to thank the district attorney, finance director, the county clerk, and the county treasurer for all their help with getting all these together so we could move this forward for the community. They were instrumental. We all worked together, and then along with Chairman Howe to really So there's gonna be, we have the public hearing right now, and then there'll be a resolution coming up that you guys will determine in the best interest of White Pine County. Should you choose to do that, then you'll have a copy of the deed, a sample deed. And that would be the time for you guys to change, adopt what we've done preliminarily for the restrictions on the properties, or to make any changes that you guys see fit. And the last agenda item would be to have a bid with interested, responsive parties for those lots. And they would be subject to those deed restrictions that you guys previously approved. Do you have any questions on any of that as we go over? I got my
Just
left hand man here.
clarification, no, the prices run from 27,000 to 49,000.
So these lots are each at 30,000. The comparables were different
Okay.
ranges, but the
The
appraiser.
fine print, even when I tried
Oh,
to make
it
it
is.
big,
It's-
wasn't, wasn't,
You have, I mean, on appraisal reports, it is very difficult to find the actual, I
okay.
wish they put it on page one, your appraisal is this dollars, because,
Yeah, I was
go
trying
through
to
a
figure
lot
that
of-
out. Thank you for that help.
yeah, it's
I
very,
appreciate it.
I mean, it's like on one of these pages in the very fine print on the
Yeah.
bottom, so it's not easy.
Okay,
So to make it
Thank you.
clear, the appraisals were done by a certified appraiser.
Correct,
The appraisals for each lot was $30,000 each lot.
correct,
The parcels that we're putting together are all 4 parcels as one package. The successful bidder has 1 week to pay the price, to pay the fee. We'll start the bidding process at the appraised value.
correct.
And then we'll get into that as we go into the details of the resolution, but I just want to make that perfectly clear for the public exactly what's going on. There are certain restrictions as far as times to bid it, times to build it, how, there's a time frame set in place. So that's exactly how it was set out. It was posted on the website. We contacted different contractors in person. I see there's some here, so that's exactly what's going on. So I just want to make it perfectly clear. These lots were appraised by a certified appraiser for $30,000 apiece for a total of $120,000. That is that.
That's correct.
So now, if there's any public comment on what we're about to do on the phone? Anybody in the audience? George has already spoken, so we allowed that. So please come forward, state your name.
Renee Harshman for White Pine Construction. I was gone last week, so I haven't seen the restrictions. And I know I talked to you about the garage being smaller.
Those changed.
Okay. And the house requirement still 1,500 square feet?
Yes.
And
Minimum size 1,500.
yeah,
1,500
Yeah.
minutes?
commitment, yeah.
Okay. And everything has been
So
lot,
576 in the garage.
okay.
Changed that to 1,500.
And we have to have the foundation done within 90 days, or?
It says construction process, so
Okay,
that's
so we got 3 years to finish all 4 houses.
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comment or any other question? Okay. That being said, we are going into the meeting, and item 2 is a discussion for possible action. It's approval of resolution 2021-29 of the White Pine County Board of County Commissioners that is in the best interest of the county to sell certain real property for less than fair market value. Clerk.
So, assuming you have a copy of the resolution, the clerk has a copy as well, and the TA has approved or reviewed it and gone through it, so it's just, I guess if you have any questions on it, just be whether you guys agree or want to adopt this resolution or not.
Any questions by anybody? Anyone got a comment on it? So if not, I'll look for a motion to approve the resolution to move forward with the sale of certain real property.
Move to approve.
Motion by Travis. Second by Ian. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Passed unanimous. Item 3 is discussion for possible action. The approval of deed requirements for the sale of county-owned property and parcels. identified in resolution 2021-29. Burton and James.
So, you guys should have in the backup the tentative deed restrictions on there, and this would be the time for you guys, if you wanted to make any changes, that we would do that before we started the bidding, so that the interested parties would know exactly what's included in there.
Does anyone have a question on what's included in the restrictions as far as the bidding process goes and what you're bidding on?
And I can go through each of them too, if you'd like.
Yeah, maybe if you would, Bert, just go through each so it's on the record.
Okay?
So, excuse me, this one has one section on page 1 of 4 where it's item 2 where it says JCR. Is
Oh,
that supposed to
I
be
need to
blocked
change
out?
that, correct, thank you, I thought yes,
Okay,
that would just be a blank,
okay, thank you.
thank you for catching that.
As you can see, this is based on the previous.
Yeah, it's quite a bit
Yeah.
different, but that was a template that I used. So,
Well, give us, one of the potential bidders just want, just give us the potential requirements. We have already stated that you have to have sidewalks, curb, gutter.
yeah, so within 36 months of the date of signing the deed, the successful bidder agrees to subdivide, it agrees to construct single-family residential
Take
housing
your mask off, go down, there you go.
conforming to the following conditions. Property must be used for the construction of at least 4 single-family residences for sale to the public. Each single-family home shall be a minimum size of 1,500 square feet. Project will be conducted by a contractor licensed by the state of Nevada. The construction of the project must begin within 90 days of the execution of this deed. The total development and construction project of the project to be completed within 36 months, 3 years. Shall include gutter, curb gutter, sidewalks in the front of the property. The project shall include the installation of fire hydrants and streetlights as required. Each home shall have a double car garage of at least 576 square feet. The project shall be wired for electrical and high-speed internet connections. The single-family residences shall have their front facade facing south, and all the single-family residences will have their front yards landscaped. And that the contractor agrees to carry insurance of all types in the amounts required by law, and the contractor must comply with all federal, state, local law and regulations while carrying out the duties of this sale agreement. There's some other
Yeah, but that's
duties
fine.
in there.
So anybody got any questions on what was just spoken to? Please come forward, state your name.
We need clarification on streetlights and landscaping. Are you guys gonna be, I mean, we can put dirt, gravel down as landscaping, and streetlights, I mean, you're looking at all the costs as it is.
Those are as required by the city.
Yeah, so that'd be any city rules on that.
Okay, so we have to check with the city on that, what's required.
Yeah, for any for the fire hydrants or street lights, those,
So you expect the builders to absorb all that?
yes.
And on landscaping, that's our preference, so we can just put gravel out front and that's considered landscaping.
As long as they're all uniform.
Makes it look nice. We want people to buy these
I'll
things,
use
right?
pink gravel then, that would good.
As long as you include flamingos, it'll be fine.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Are there any penalties or consequences in regards to if, because of the specific times? Is there,
So if the project wasn't completed in the 36 months, the land that is, any unsold houses would, or land would revert back to the.
right, but like if, like the 90 days or, is there any other, so that really, that's not binding as long as it's all done
Within 3 years.
within 3 years? Okay.
You could revert if it did begin in 90 days as well.
Okay.
Please come forward, state your name.
Good morning, Harry Rick. So on this thing that she had brought up, should the individual be building, let's say, and they get on down, they have an investment in this thing, they're not meeting your criteria, right? But they do, on the other side, have an investment. Are you going to enforce that to the letter that it's written? Or are you going to provide wiggle room? So in other words, the drop dead date is, I don't know, July 1 or something, and you have not fulfilled your obligation to what you folks are talking about.
If there's extenuating circumstances, there's
No
always,
extenuating circumstances.
But I mean, if
I'm
there-
asking for a clear cut.
it's 3 years.
If I could answer that.
Go ahead.
So this deed as written is strict drop dead. That doesn't mean that if you're 90% complete, you couldn't come back to the county for an amended deed. Providing that wiggle room, but we can't guarantee what the future board would decide on that. So what you'd be bidding on are the conditions here, and whether that can be completed or is realistic should inform your bidding. But again, we could bring this back if needed, but that would be up to the commission whether to accept or reject any accommodations.
I think that this board wants to see the homes built, so I think that this board will be willing to. I mean, we all know that construction time, the season and all of that, there are sometimes, yes, extenuating circumstances, but, I think the board wants this to succeed.
Yeah, and I appreciate that comment. What I want to make clear is what we're approving today, and things can be added to this or changed in this, but the discussion about this, I don't want it to be seen as a potential amendment or an addition that's inferred in here. Right now, if this gets approved as is, it's a drop dead date.
Don't bid on it if you don't think you can get it done in that time.
Yeah, and whether, the commission would be flexible in the future, those promises are not made right now. So this whatever is passed is, everything is as is, and it's gonna be strictly construed. But again, there's a possibility to bring forward at a future time if needed. But none of those, for example, Lori's comment that we want it done, that is not going to be incorporated in this as far as a promise to amend in the future or anything like that. Does that make sense? Talking
Yeah,
in
I was
circles
putting in
here.
a warm fuzzy with regards to, yeah.
That's my question. I don't want to get involved in something, and just for anyone, not just for myself, but anyone that's involved and has got an investment there, and they get on down the line, there may be an extenuating circumstance, right? That, just prohibits them from finishing that darn thing, and, so, in listening to your comment and his comment, it's kind of like clear as mud to me right now. What are we going to do? Is it going to be, or is it going to be Terry Reck up here in front of the county commission, begging off at some point and hoping that will happen? All I'm trying to do is not get involved in something that causes you guys some pain and some anguish as far as presenting it to the public and making them, understand, hey, here's what we did. He agreed to this, but he didn't get it, and so we're gonna do this for him. I just don't wanna go
So, Terry, are you thinking that 3 years is an unreasonable timeframe?
I don't. I mean, no, if you're,
Okay.
I would think, I'm not,
I can tell you this. If it's a situation where this project is running up against the deadline, and it's 90% or more completed, and it needs another, month or two beyond this 36 to come to 100% completion. I will ask that this be put on the agenda, and I will explain that. But
So-
I will not promise that the board is going to do anything.
Right, and I understand that, and that's good. So I'm going to leave with the assumption that, we can work around it in some way. As he says, if we are 90% complete, something like that, so the person doesn't lose their investment. I mean, that's just common sense. If you've got 3 houses sitting there and they're not landscaped, or the street light isn't in, or there's something, obviously, the investment's there, the due diligence was completed. I think I can see my way through that.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously 3 years from now, we don't know who will be on board or what what the makeup of it will be.
Right.
But I mean, just speaking for myself, why these are in there is just to prevent someone from buying the land, sitting on it and not getting to the eventual goal. So I would see it, I mean, who knows, but I would see it highly unlikely that anyone with, some rationale, common sense would see, oh, they're in good faith, they have the majority of the project done, whatever, COVID comes back around and the supply chain shut down and it takes another, has to get extended or something. I mean, I wouldn't see anyone that's like, okay, they're making the good faith effort, these are there, they're not just sitting on it or doing something mischievous. I would foresee that any board would grant that, but, I can't speak for that, but that's my view on it.
And Travis makes a good point. I guess I gotta make a similar caveat. That is, if I am still here in 3 years, then I will ask for it to be put on the agenda if it's 90% or more completed.
That's pretty much all anyone can ask. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments before we move on to the next item? That was the approval of deed requirements for the sale of the county-owned property. We don't motion on that.
I don't think we approved.
No, that's what we're going through right now.
Okay.
All the discussion we just had, the requirements are going to be, I'm asking for a motion to approve those. Right now.
And if you have any additions, now would be the
Yeah,
time to
just,
add.
if you wanna change anything, please.
Yeah, you wanna change timelines, you wanna change square footage, anything like that.
I didn't hear any changes from any of the folks present, so I'll move to approve with the 2 changes that Burton noted with scratching of JCR and then the scratch of that subdivided property.
I'll second.
Motion by Travis and a second by Lori. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. So now we'll go to item 4. Item 4 is discussion for possible action. The approval to award land sale to the highest responsible bidder of APN 002-161-05- and the second one 002-161-06, 002-161-07, and 002-161-08, with restrictions placed upon the parcels and payment due within 1 week of the awarding of the bid. So I'm gonna ask Burton to take over the bidding process. And what it will be is the bidding will start at the appraised value, which was $120,000, am I correct?
That's correct.
So I'm gonna ask Burton, and I think Catherine is here to help
Yeah,
him.
Catherine's gonna.
So
Catherine's
let's have them sign and take a paddle.
Okay,
Whoever
so
wants to
whoever wants
bid
to
on the
bid,
properties, if you
or-
please come up and just sign,
Yeah, and then you'll get a number.
and you'll get a number so that I can write bids down quicker. Instead of address, why don't you have your name, and just phone number?
Try to rule this one.
You took my lucky 7.
I figured we,
Other choices, I didn't
deal with all
even-
this kind of opportunity.
Not even a gunpoint.
What paddle number are you?
Oh, 3.
Okay. 3 or 4.
I'll go play the game.
this week.
Terry, I thought that's what it was.
He isn't?
This is the first time.
It's 00.
So everybody signed in who wants to bid? I think we have 3.
Is there anybody on the phone that was interested in bidding? Mike? Okay. I'll turn it over to you, Bert, you and Catherine.
Okay, so the, I guess how this is gonna work, I've talked with the chairman this morning, and we're gonna start, and he mentioned it at 120,000, and if there's no bids, then we'll go down in increments of $5,000 until such point that there is a bid, and then we'll go from there. So is there a bid for 120,000? Seeing none, is there a bid for 115,000? Seeing none, is there a bid for 110,000? Seeing none, 105,000. Seeing none, 100,000. Seeing none, 95,000. Seeing none, 90,000.
Can I interject here, James?
This is,
If at one point we receive a bid and it's not something, this commission has the right to reject the bid, am I right?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, so that's why, just so you guys are clear, and we're at what number right now?
90,000.
90,000, okay, just so you're,
And then, I have a question too, Bert, and then when we get the first low bid, then we'll go back up, right?
Correct,
Okay.
yes. So, bid for 90,000, seeing none, 85,000. Seeing none, 80,000. Seeing none, 75,000. Seeing none, 70,000. Seeing none, 65,000. Seeing none, 60,000. Seeing none, 55,000. Seeing none, 50,000. Seeing none, 45,000. Seeing none, 40,000. Seeing none, 35,000. Seeing none, 30,000. Seeing none, 25,000. Seeing none, 20,000. Seeing none, 15,000.
Burton, stop right now,
Okay.
because, this low of a bid isn't even worth,
no way.
is no way, those lots are primo lots, are in a perfect position, and there's no sense in going any lower. At this rate, that's giving them away. And I-
That would be a board decision.
Yes.
So we have to, I think what we need to do is continue the bidding,
Okay,
see if you receive a bid. If you receive a bid, then the board can decide whether to accept or reject the bid.
all right, go ahead.
Okay, continuing at 15,000. Seeing none, 10,000. Seeing none, 5,000. Okay, we have a
Whoops, there was a drop top.
bid number 3 at 5,000.
Rochambeau?
Okay, so we have a bid at 5,000. Is there a bid for 6,000? Number 7 at 6,000. Number 3 was at 5,000. The bid is, current bid is 6,000. Is there a bid for 7,000?
Don't hold my hand down.
Any bids? Current bid is 6,000. Is there any bid for 7,000? Okay, last call. Current bid is 6,000. Is there a bid for 7,000? Going once, going twice. Okay, final bid is at 6,000.
Now can we start, James?
Yes.
We have a bid for $6,000 on the 4 parcels, and I'm going to ask the commission, are you in favor of letting these lots go? Is that a responsive bid, in your opinion? Is the commission okay with selling these 4 parcels for $6,000?